Republican congressman from the beautiful state of South Carolina with us, Joe Wilson. Joe was among a small group that went to North Korea. This goes back to the early days of the Bush administration. I'm talking the last President Bush here. And there were a lot of concerns he had then and still has now about dealing with a country that you still intrinsically cannot trust. I think I've got the gist of that right, Congressman?
You really did, Neil. I'm honored to be with you.
So what do you think now, this president, to avoid the problems and pitfalls, and I got to give you credit that you foresaw with the Bush administration, not taking anything away from them, that you're worried about potentially with this one?
Well, I'm really pleased that we have a president who understands the opposition, the enemy of our nation. He'll stand up truly for the American people, and I just have such faith in his team. With Mike Pence,
and you didn't with President Bush. I mean, that was a pretty pedigree team.
Well, hey, this team is world class, and with Secretary Mike Pompeo, with Ambassador Bolton, Ambassador Nikki Haley, we've got a team in place that is really world class.
How do you know they can't be snookered, though? I mean, two other teams in the Bush years and, of course, in the Clinton years were snookered, and they were the finest international diplomatic minds at the time.
Yeah, and the good news, we've learned from that, and that's why we have people in place and a president who makes promises and keeps the promises, and that's why I believe Kim Jong-un has agreed to this conference.
Okay, your concerns back, in 2003, I believe, when you were, talking about this, was that you have essentially a state that has no money, that's bankrupt, that obviously is in it. You didn't say this, so I'm paraphrasing here, but it's in it for the money. It needs help, and we're the way to provide that. But President Trump has already made it clear this isn't about a lot of money to us. We're providing a lot of money, maybe investment incentives and all the rest. I guess by that he means giving an encouragement for private enterprises to do something there. But what do you make of that distinction?
Well, the distinction is that unlike other administrations that gave money in advance, this president's not. He's indicated he'll actually walk away. If we don't have denuclearization and removal of nuclear weapons in North Korea, he will walk away. But if we can have an achievement, sanctions will be lifted. It'll be a great opportunity for the people of North Korea, even for the current government, to have what we see of the extraordinary success of South Korea.
All right, but you put the whole North Korean government in perspective at the time when you said the Foreign Ministry Square, this after your visit there, is adorned with portraits of Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. There we met the foreign minister at the time, Peek Nam-soon, Vice Minister for American Affairs, Kim Gae-gwan. And all of these guys, I could go on and mention them, were haters. They didn't flip over us. And in fact, they didn't remotely flip over us. I would imagine the characters have changed, but that attitude is not. So what do we do?
Well, hey, we can make progress, and President Trump's done it. The release of the 3 hostages, that would be unimaginable. We're only talking about a year since Otto Warmbier was killed on June 19th.
Right.
And so how far we've come, Neil, and so there's substantial progress. To meet with Prime Minister Abe yesterday without the thought that there would be missiles being flown over Japan. How far we've come just in the past month.
So you would want to verify whatever promises they're making. 2 other administrations had promises that, I guess in the case of the last go-round, were being broken within just a matter of weeks. So we'd have to keep on top of them from the get-go before any checks or monies are issued, right?
Absolutely. And, hey, we've learned from the lack of verification with the Iranian deal. Again, promises made, promises kept by Donald Trump. And that is we would have full verification without advance notice that we would be able to identify sites. And then the persons who are doing the verification would be very skilled and talented experts in the field of nuclear capability.
Congressman, you had very prescient warnings then. I think it's important for a lot of people on either side of the political ledger to be listening to your concerns right now. Thank you, sir. Good seeing you.
Well, thank you for your service to our country.
All right, be well, sir.